Hello, everybody. Hey, hi, how y'all doing? This is Book Talk from Sally Walks, and I'm your host, Sally Walks. But today, we're going to talk about the book that I have been writing, the series that I have been creating, the first book in the Empire of Karma series, Karma, the First Lady. We're going to go into depth about the entire book. So before I talked about Karma a little bit and talked about how she's this boss babe, but today we're going to talk about the entire book, start to finish, and I want to hear how you really feel about her, okay? So to start the book off, she talks about how she's 14 years old when she meets Dushan Amari Braxton. She's gonna say his full government name a lot. She is enamored with this man, okay? She thinks that he is so fine, and she meets him at church of all places. So you're thinking like, okay, that is innocent enough. They meet at church. So she comes to meet him at church when she tells her best friend Brittany, like, hey, let's go to church because my home life is god awful and I feel like God is the way. So she goes to church, and they're from the projects, and obviously they're 14 years old, so they don't have license. They walk to church, and this Mormon church is the only church that's within walking distance. So they go to this Mormon church, and she describes when she walks in, it feels kind of heavy, not like she expected. She said that she feels that people are being fake when she walks in there, but she takes note of pictures on the wall of big families where the men are just sitting in the center and have a whole bunch of kids and what she assumes to be wives. And she's like, this is very interesting. So she already is very intrigued by this. Why? I don't know. And yes, they're black, as you saw from the book cover, but they are also, too, as well, Mormons, okay? So, and they exist, y'all. Black Mormons exist. So she's like, okay, this is interesting. She sits in church, and she's just staring at this man that she think is fine, which we know is Dushan Amari Braxton, aka Chief. So she's staring at him. She's staring at him so hard she doesn't hear the preacher say, okay, lady in the green dress with the braids, stand up. And so her friend's nudging her like, hey girl, I think the preacher is talking to you. So she's like, oh shoot. So she stands up, and the preacher prophesies that you're going to be his wife, his first wife. And she's like, first wife? She's kind of skeptical, right? As she should be, because what do you mean first wife? But she isn't deterred. She kind of just is like, okay, cool. So after church, she hears somebody saying, hey, green dress, and it's him. And so she's talking to him like, hey, what's up? And he's like, y'all need a ride. So at first, rightfully so, the friend is like, no, we don't need no ride. Clearly, you're too old to be talking to us, because Chief, y'all, is like 22 years old, okay? He is a grown man. And this is not necessarily a story about grooming, so please do not come to me. But in a sense, I guess it is. Please tell me how you feel about it once you read the entire story, because we're going to see who's grooming who's really holding the purse strings, who's holding the reins here, right? So, moving on. She married, so we're moving forward now, and she's talking to him. They're in the car together, and he's talking about come by the church, keep coming, be a part of the Mormon faith. It talks about structure and family and how everything is supposed to be. And she's like, okay. And right off the rip, she's like, this man has something that I don't have. I'm from the projects, and this man has money. Okay, so she's like, I'm prophesied to be his wife. So whatever it is, I'm not gonna mess this up, right? So they court, they date, and he's a gentleman, the way she describes him in the beginning. Like, she saying, oh, he takes me out. We date. He comes and he picks me up from school. I'm the flyest girl there now. And I'm the only one who gets to have her man pick her up from school. And I don't know why, but nobody says anything about this. Nobody bats an eye at it. And so she's like, one day on a 3-day weekend, he just whisks her off to Miami. And she's like, I've never left Clinton, let alone been to Miami, okay? So she's like living her best life. She's like, I am gonna be Mrs. Dushan Braxton and nothing is gonna stop it, okay? So he proposes and she goes into detail about how he dates her and proposes to her and gives her the family heirloom. And she asks her best friend, like, hey, do you want to be at my wedding? And the best friend basically laughs in her face, like, girl, you're crazy as a fish with tits if you think this man is serious about marrying you. But they do, in fact, get married. Then she goes into detail about how life is. She talks about how the first 3 years of marital bliss, is what she calls it, are perfect until they move. Because the pastor, Senior Braxton, is Dushan Braxton's dad. The guy that prophesies this is his dad. So they move to Greensboro and he expands the Mormon church or whatever. And he's like, yep, let's move to Greensboro. And once they're there, he wines and dines her, buys her a mansion. I mean, he's like spending a bunch of money on her. Life is great. She goes to school. She learns how to run business. Like, they're truly couple goals, okay? They are running it, all right? And Chief is like, so I think it's time that we're stable enough. I think it's time that we have another wife. And she's like, oh. You know, she pauses for a minute and she's like, well, I understood what this was when I got into it. So, all right, whatever. So they're downtown one day and she sees this lady that she thinks is pretty. And she's like, she's asking Chief, do you think she's pretty? And they find them another wife. This is the second wife. Her name is Autumn. And she rescues Autumn basically because she notices that Autumn is in an abusive relationship. Now, there are hints in the book that Karma might be a tad bit possessive. She's addicted to power. And we start to see a shift in her whenever the new wife comes in, because she's like, I'm his first lady. I'm number one. He married me, right? So she just goes on and on about that, and she makes sure that everybody knows their place. But we start to see less and less of Chief because he's out running amok and doing whatever it is that he has going on. And she's like, he's not coming home. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. And so she's expecting that he's cheating after they done and got married to this new woman. And also, y'all, just a sidebar, Karma is also married to the wives. I don't think that's how polygamy normally works. Normally it's the man who marries all the wives. But Karma is like, nah, we're partners. I'm the first lady. And it really sets her up to be in a position of power. And once she gets into this position of power, like I stated before, she is absolutely enamored with it. She's addicted to it. She describes the feeling of power as better than sex, okay? Like, she's like, yes, I am her, okay, boo? So anyway, moving on. She's expecting that Chief is cheating on her. So she doesn't care what Autumn thinks about it. She doesn't ask Autumn. She goes out and she does what she does best, because she also has a hobby of people watching. She enjoys people watching and making up stories about people. So she goes to the park and she's like, it's hot outside, which means ballers are going to be at the court. And if ballers are at the court, that means girls are going to be at the court too. So she goes and she finds a girl that she thinks is pretty. She describes her as a little ghetto for her taste. But she's like, we need someone with street edge. We're running an empire here. Like, yeah, let's have somebody with some street smarts about it. I can't do everything. So she basically appeals to this young girl. Mind you, she's young too. She was 18 when they got married. They were married 3 years before she got with Autumn. And now she's already bringing in this new girl. So Karma is still young herself, but she feels like she's an OG at this point. So she's like appealing to this young girl. So telling her, all right, you get a business right off of the rip. All right, my husband is fine enough to take care of us and he has money. And she's just like, okay, you think that I want to marry a man that has 2 wives already? But she's telling her like, well, what do you have to lose? Because how many times have you been with other men and you got nothing out of it, just giving it up for free? So boom, they marry Ariel. And then Ariel gets pregnant. Autumn, we don't know how she feels about it because again, it ain't about Autumn, it's about Karma, right? So Karma is like, well, she got pregnant, that's cool. I never really wanted to have kids, but she thinks that means something. It means absolutely nothing. Karma is like, I'm number one and I'm the one who holds the power. But so why does she think that power comes from wombs in here? Like, nah, girl, please. So it's framed now that Ariel has postpartum, which is real. Postpartum is real. And I felt like that was something to put in here that was going to be heavy. But we don't know what happens to Ariel. We just know that one day she's married to them, she has a baby, and then one day she's no longer here anymore. It's like they kind of just wrote her off to the side, right? Yeah, okay. Y'all believe that if you want to. Read the book and you tell me what you think happened to her. Anyway, moving on. So Ariel has postpartum and she just disappears. She vanishes. All right, we don't talk about her anymore. And now Karma is like, well, somebody has to take care of this kid because I'm not about to do it. And Chief is still out here running amok, doing what he does, saying that he's running business or whatever, what have you. And now I have to see, well, who's going to take care of little Chief? So she goes and she's like, we need a nurturer now. We need someone older. We need somebody that can take care of this kid. And she's like, yeah, I got to go out here and recruit another wife, right? So she goes, again, she's people watching. This time she goes to a park and she sees a lady named Shakina. Now she's basically stalking this woman at this point. Like, she's watching her. She sees her with the older gentleman. And she's like, okay, she's gentle with him, nurturing, caring. That's what I need right there. So she basically approaches this lady and she dates her. Mind you, she's married to Chief and Autumn, but she's out dating this woman and showing her a good time out on the town. And she's like, well, I hope Autumn can hold down the fort just long enough so that I can bring this woman home. And then she's like, well, it's funny because she's in control. She wants to be in control. She has power. But as she's telling her story, she contradicts herself sometimes by saying, but I would never overstep my husband. So I have to make sure this is okay. So she brings Shakina home and she expects Chief to make the final decision if this can be a wife or not. And of course he says, yeah, he's like, the more wives, the merrier, the more powerful in the church you are if you have a lot of wives. So they have a ceremony and they marry Shakina. And Shakina is basically like an in-house nanny, okay? We don't be intimate with Shakina. We don't really do anything. She's just here for security. And that's how she sold it to Shakina. She's like, yeah, it got money. This is the whole layout. This is what I need you to do to take care of this kid. And you can come live with us. You can have a business. You'll never have to worry about anything. By this time in the story, all the wives have their own separate house. Chief has like a condo. They are rich, okay? They have businesses, car dealerships. They have the works, okay? So now we're into the part in the story where she's just living the life, but she's still wondering, well, where is Chief? Like, why is Chief not home? So she pulls him to the side and she's like, hey, are you cheating? Because it feels like you're cheating, and you best not be cheating on me, okay? Because you will not like it. She's laying down the law. She's like, you do not want to go down that road. Like, I've given you chance after chance. Please don't play in my face, basically. So he's like, of course not. I have a family. I have kids. So by this time in the story, Autumn is pregnant. So Autumn is pregnant with twins at this point. And Shekinah is helping Autumn get ready for these babies to come. They already have little Chief. And Chief is still out doing business, whatever that means. But Karma is getting fed up. Karma is like, business? I'm the face of the business. What have you been doing? Everything runs through me now. Like, I make sure I check the checks and balances. I make sure I do the pickups and the drops. She's laying down everything that she does. So she's like, well, what are you doing? She makes it abundantly clear that she didn't question it at first because she's not stupid. She's like, I understand that, he might have things to do out of town, or he might have things to do because empires don't just run themselves. But after a while, she's like, yeah, empires don't run themselves, but Chief ain't running nothing. Karma runs this, okay? So they all still go, somehow they still manage to all go to church on Sundays. And in this particular Sunday, Karma, Chief, Autumn, Shekinah, and the kid, they're all in church. And Senior Braxton says, I have a prophecy. And he tells this girl named Shasta to stand up. And Karma is like, well, why is he telling her to stand up? I thought when he prophesied me to Chief, that was it. He said he didn't do this often. So why is he prophesying now? This other young girl. And to put insult to injury, he's prophesying this young girl to Chief. And she's like, she's 19. She's a baby. But she has to walk it back because she was like, well, I was 14. And she's saying, well, who am I to argue with God? Like, who am I to disagree with Senior? I guess I have to accept this. So she's like, well, let me pray about it. I haven't prayed in a long time. She tells herself that she can accept that this new girl is coming into their harem. But she is absolutely livid about it because up until now, she's been recruiting the new wives. And she's like, how dare him say that this is our wife? So the girl comes in married. She talks about how their courtship goes so fast. And she's like, he married her just like that. It went fast. She's like, I understand that he courted me and he dated me for a long while because I'm number one, but he ain't have to marry her that fast. So she moves in and they immediately start to see a shift. She's like, that money starts missing. She's like, Chief is missing. So immediately she's like, oh my God, they're stealing money so that they can run off together. But that's not what happens. One day she finds out that it is absolutely not Chief moving money like she thought. It was Shasta. Shasta was stealing. And she's like, oh my God, she's stealing. So she goes to Shasta's house to check on her because she does this thing where she checks on all the wives every day. It's a part of her routine. We'll learn throughout the series that Karma is very routine. And sometimes routine gets you caught up. We'll talk about that later. But she's very routine. So a part of her routine is checking on the wives. While checking on the wives and going to Shasta's house, she's like, oh my God, her house is cleared out. Where is she? So she's like, oh my God, she's gone. Everything in the house is gone. When does she even have time to pack up and leave, y'all? We don't know. So she goes back home and she calls up Shakina and Autumn. And she's like, yo, Shasta's gone. She took all this money. And Autumn and Shakina are like, so what about Chief? And Karma gets irritated because she's like, well, isn't that a wonderful question? A question that I absolutely do not have the answer to. And she's so pissed off, y'all. She is so mad that she's like, well, I don't know what to tell them, so I just simply don't answer them. And that's how that goes. They just let Shasta is gone. Their last wife is out of here, right? So moving forward, she's talking to Chief. Chief comes home. They have a night out. She thinks that everything is hunky-dory. She's like, oh my gosh, he's home. We have a wonderful evening. We go out and things are like it was before the wives. Like we go out, we party, we have a good time. And he takes me to get boxed wine. So getting boxed wine at Sheetz is like their thing that he used to do before she could really drink. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is like before we got married. This is the best intimacy ever. And she's just like, the next day, nope, he back on his BS. And she's like, if he's on BS, call me Miss Me Too, because I'm on BS too, baby. So she's like not gonna follow him just yet, but she's thinking about it. She's like, I have to figure out what this man is up to, because I feel like he's playing in my face. And she just feels like he's playing with my time. So she goes and she follows him. She's like, he's been gone. I had put a tracker on his phone. Now I have to follow him. She's getting increasingly upset because after she's been asking him what he's doing, every time he's like, I'm on business. But before she follows him, let me backtrack a little bit. I almost got ahead of myself. She finds out that he's been out here dabbing in other dealings, right? So she finds out by him bringing this woman home, this transgender woman home, that he's been talking to someone else. And he brings her home and is like, hey, I want to see if this will work out. Let's have a trial wife. And she's like, a trial wife? Like, who do you think you are? You can't just bring a woman into my house and say that this is a trial wife. Like, nah, I do that. I recruit the wives. Like, boy, stop. So she's like, no, she can't be a wife. But she likes this lady instantly. She says that she talks to her. She doesn't lie, because she asked her like, hey, are you trans? And she's like, yeah. So she doesn't lie about it. And she asked Chief, did Chief know? And Chief is like, okay, what if I did? So she's like, ugh, he thought that it didn't matter, but it absolutely does matter. Plus, it ain't even about her being trans. Like, he brought this person home, expecting me to just be cool with it. So now, she's like, yeah, he getting too big for his breeches, okay? So let me bring him down a peg. She's like, no, she can't be a wife. But what we can do is give her a business, okay? Because I like her. She talks so well, and she's talking about this spa that could potentially bring us elite clients. And yeah, we need to be in on that. So she gives Destiny a business. Now, moving forward, back to her following him, right? She follows him and she's like, why on earth are we in a residential area? Y'all, this man pulls up to a residential area, to a house where he has a whole entire other family. And Karma is watching them. Karma's like, he pulls up to this house with this white lady who has dreads and big tits with 2 kids. And she's like, oh, how dare him? He has a whole nother life. And not only that, she watches him for a while, and Senior Braxton pulls up. So she's not just betrayed by her husband, but she feels betrayed by her father-in-law, because she's like, not only did Chief cheat and have this whole other family, But your daddy didn't even have the decency enough to come and tell me. Like, what kind of foolishness is this? Like, what is really going on? So she goes home and she's like, knowledge is really power. And again, she's addicted. She is drunk with power. She loves power. So she's just like, all right, cool. This is sad and all, but I'm going to use this for later. I've been squaring away from me and my wives, and he's going to be the one, shit out of luck, basically. Like, he's going to be the one up the creek without a paddle, because not only has him and Shasta been stealing money, Shasta's gone, Chief's been moving money, probably because of this new family, and now I have to steal money because I have to make sure that me and my wives and these kids are taken care of. So she just doesn't even say anything to the wives about it. She doesn't say anything to Chief about it. She's just, all right, cool. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to keep this information close to my vest. Well, as if that wasn't enough rigmarole, Chief dies. Like, out of the pure blue sky, he's in bed with her. She's been giving him the cold shoulder, but Chief dies. And she's like, oh my God, like, I didn't prepare for him to die. I prepared to go to war with him. I prepared to divorce him. I prepared to steal our money and take the wives and the kids and move and leave him with nothing. And she's like, oh my God, baby, please just wake up. And she's not prepared. Like, she is so sad that he's dead. And she describes how the ambulance comes in, the police comes in, and she's like, they're just walking about my room like this isn't the most intimate place I've ever shared with the man that I love. So now it's time for the funeral, and she's very composed. She has on her black tall heels, she has on a veil, like, she's very put together, and she's looking at Autumn and Shakina like, okay, y'all need to pull it together, because Autumn is blubbering and she's sad, and she's like, I have 2 kids by this man. And Karma's like, 2 kids, okay, and I'm his wife. I'm the first lady. And she's like, I have his last name. Basically, y'all aren't even his wives. So after the funeral, Karma goes on, because she's like, okay, she's basically just suppressing her grief because she's not processing that Chief is really dead. So she's basically like, all this stuff that he had lying against me, he has this new family, like, man, forget Chief, right? So she's doing meetings and she's doing all the pickups, she's doing everything business as usual, and she passes out. She's like, oh my gosh, I've been gaining weight, I've been feeling bad, I've been nauseous. She's like, I just chalked it up to grief because I don't remember really eating the way that I'm supposed to. So I just feel like I've been snacking and I've been gaining weight for that. And I don't know if I've been doing what I'm supposed to do as far as my body, because I'm a machine. She literally calls herself the machine. Well, while at the doctor, they ask her, well, when was the last time you had your menstrual? And she's like, oh man, I really have to think about this. Like, when is the last time I've had my menstrual? Lo and behold, y'all, she is preggers, okay? She is pregnant by Chief, and she's just like, oh my God, why won't Chief leave me alone like he's dead and I'm still tied to him? So she wrestles with what to do, because mind you, she never wanted to be a mom. So she talks to the only person that she trusts at this point in time, and that is Destiny. Yes, the woman that she did not want to be a wife, she has come to really trust, and she has a friendship with Destiny, and she's like, hey, I know we're Mormon and all, but I can't have this baby. So they go and they take care of it, and that's that. She doesn't tell anyone, but she wrestles with that decision, and she goes to the clinic, and Destiny is like holding this secret. Well, lo and behold, Miss Dreadhead Big Tits, her name is Marietta. Marietta comes back into the picture, and she meets them one day. Like, she comes to the spa one day after Karma has already done this deed of getting rid of the baby. And Karma's like, ugh, this is just one reason why I know I made the right decision for myself, because here goes his indiscretions coming to haunt me, okay? And Marietta is like, hey, I'm looking for Chief. And Shekinah is like, okay, and who are you? So Marietta is really trying to be a boss babe, but she ain't quite there yet. So Marietta is like, I'm his wife. Karma's like, hold your mule. Back up, wait a minute. I'm his wife, and my husband is dead. Like, he's been dead for at least at this point in the story, Chief has been dead for 5 months. And here comes Marietta looking for him. And she's all like, well, I need to talk to him. This is important. Like, he told me to come here if I ever needed anything. And Karma's telling the story, and she's just like, yeah, I'm not having it. And if you don't leave, it can be a problem. So Marietta leaves. She has her kids with her. And Karma is just like, she did not have to do this type of way. She could have just called on some, hey, Barbara, this is Shirley type stuff. But she didn't. She decided to be messy. And Karma's just like, oh, I don't have time for messy. All of this stuff is just piling up on top of Karma. And Karma's like, I have to keep the businesses running. I have to make sure things at the palace are running. I have to make sure that everything is going the way that it's supposed to be. So we come to the part in the story where Karma gets arrested. And Karma is like, oh my God, I'm doing pickups and someone is following me. She's like, I made a turn that I didn't have to make, and they're on my tail. They're trailing me. So she goes to Destiny's, which is the name of the salon, and she gets out, and the cop is like, put your hands up, Karma Rose Braxton, you're under arrest. And she's under arrest for pandering and bigamy and all these other charges. So she makes a big deal out of turning around, putting her hands up, getting on her knees, and she's like, I just don't want to die. She's looking around and she's like, no one's even paying attention. Like, this is just another day in the life. So now she's in there, she's being interrogated, and Destiny comes and bails her out. Destiny is like, all right, I got your back. And I've been talking to our people that we have on the payroll, because Karma is like, well, what am I paying these cops for if I'm going to still get arrested, right? So Karma is like, well, who is it? Who signed off on the arrest? Like, who is coming for me? And she was like, it was the DA. And she was like, oh, okay. So now Karma is digging into see who it is that's trying to set her up. And she feels that it is Senior. Mind you, she already don't like Senior because Senior knew about Chief dating Marietta. So she sets up to take Senior down. And Senior is a messy bookkeeper. Senior, he sees that Senior has been trafficking women, and Senior has been doing all of these unholy things for him to be a man of the cloth, okay? Because Senior is supposed to be a preacher. And she's like, there's all these allocated funds that are just going nowhere. Like, he's supposed to be laundering money. And she was like, whoever this is, did they want Senior to get caught? Because this is messy bookkeeping. She was like, I cooked the books for my company. He should have had me cooking the books for him. So she's like, ooh, all of this messy stuff in here, I have enough to take him down. So she's like, yeah, I'm going to hold on to this and we're going to play this out. So she sets it up to where Senior basically gets taken down. And she does it slowly because she was like, karma is like revenge. Karma is a dish best served cold. And I want him to know that it was, in fact, me. So I'm not going to tell y'all everything. That's why it seems like I'm jumping from here to there, because I really do want you to read it. But just know that she takes him down and she has valid reason to, okay? So we move on a little bit further to where she's like, man, Destiny is my best friend and we've been kicking it for a little while. She wants to marry Destiny now. She's like, this has nothing to do with being a Mormon now. Like, this is just me giving in and letting go of Chief and giving in to my desires for once. So she marries Destiny. Now she has all of these wives and they have 3 kids between them. So she's like, I done took Senior down. Now I kind of feel like, well, let's get away and let's go to Cuba or let's go to Aruba. So they go to Aruba and they're having fun and they feel like they can just be themselves. They're living life, the best life ever. And she's just like, old habits die hard, because she enjoys power and she enjoys marrying people. I feel like she really enjoys marrying people because she gets to say, yeah, all of these people belong to me and they can't do anything with anybody else. They can only be with me, while I can be with whomever I want to be with. So while she's there in Aruba, she starts flirting with this man. And she has to tell herself, like, I'm done with men. Chief was it for me. Because Chief is still very much so the love of her life. All right? She's been with no other man other than Chief. So she lets him flirt with her, let him buy her drinks. And she's like, I let him touch my leg and my arm a little bit longer than he should have. I let him look at my breast. But she's like, nah, I can't do nothing with him. But she's like, that felt nice to have that type of attention, because I haven't had that type of attention from anyone, especially a man, in forever. So she goes, y'all, and she takes care of herself in the bathroom while her wives are asleep in the bedroom, like in the suite. And she's like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? So they come back from Aruba and she feels like, okay, this is a good place to stop her story. And she's talking to the psychiatrist at the jail. And she's telling the psychiatrist at the jail, like, yep, this is my story and this is how I got here. Y'all finally got me. I'm arrested for all of these things. Now I need you to tell me, am I a mad person or am I a beautiful mind? Was I controlled by my husband? Like, now my fate is in your hands. You're the first person who's being paid to decide how my story basically goes. Because the psychiatrist is like, well, why are you coming clean now? Like, why are you telling me your story now? And she's basically like, well, because now I need you. And so the psychiatrist was like, well, are you telling the truth? And she's like, yes. She's like, you wanted the truth and I gave it to you. I wanted power and I enacted karma, because I am karma. Karma is like gravity and karma is inevitable. And that's the way the story ends. It's a cliffhanger because we're going to start talking about Karma New Order in the next week, okay? Because this girl Karma, y'all, she is off the chain. And this is just the beginning. Okay, thank you so much for listening to Book Talk from Sally Walks. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to visit sallywalks.net and get all of your books. Please get the entire Karma series so that we can talk about it. Please leave me a review if you like my work. And please tell me how you feel about my books, about my writing style, about how you think the series is going to go. I truly do want to hear from you, okay? Love y'all. And as always, take care. Peace.